What's up, everybody? Welcome back or to the channel. So as you can see, we're in the C6 and we're headed out to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and I'm going to be getting my windows tinted in my Corvette. Now, I've been doing a lot of research on different types of tint, and I've always had tint on a lot of my cars, but pretty much just your basic standard tint. It was more for looks, maybe a little bit of UV protection, but mostly more for privacy and the general look. But this time, because in this car, I'm primarily only driving this car in the hot summer months, so, and being that there's only a two-seater car and it's surrounded by windows, I wanted to get something that had that nice dark black look that goes with this murdered out black look I'm going for with this Corvette build, and gives me good UV protection, but also heat protection. So what we decided on is ceramic tint. Now, a lot of the shops in my area did not carry it, so they had to special order it. So I had them order it last week. It just came in today, and I'm going to drop my car off today, and they're going to keep it for the weekend, do the tinting, because they said the rear window of a lot of these Corvettes is really hard to tint. So they said it's going to probably take a day, but I'm out of time tomorrow, so I said I'll drop it off today. You guys can keep it for a day or two, and then just call me when it's done, and I'll pick it up when it's done. So after doing all the different research, I've primarily had 5% tint on a lot of my cars, but this time around, I'm getting a little older. It's getting harder to see at night, and with 5% tint, it's almost impossible to see at night with good eyes. So I was looking at different levels of tint. A lot of guys said that you could do like 20%, but I wanted that darker private look, but I still wanted a little bit more visibility. So I decided to go with a 15% ceramic tint all the way around. This way, it's going to give me the private look I'm looking for. It's going to give me great UV protection, and it's going to block about 50 to 60% of the heat that will build up in my car when parked outside in the heat, which is awesome. Now, it does cost a little bit more, but the little bit more that I'm paying is well worth the benefit. So here, I'll give you a quick little look at what it looks like now. So here's obviously the windshield, which is not going to change. But here's the driver's side window. There's the passenger window. And then there would be the rear view. But overall, as you can see very clear. It's a cloudy, overcast day. But obviously, when I get these windows tinted, this is going to look a lot different. But I'm hoping that it's still a little bit visible at night, which it's got to be better than 5% at night, because I've had 5% in many cars, but it's virtually impossible to see out of a 5% window at night. So I'm hoping this 15% works out well, but based off of all the reviews I've seen on it, it seems to be a good fit for what I'm trying to do. But again, this is something that I do to all my vehicles. I always tint all of my windows. It's just I'm doing something a little different with this car. I'm going with a completely different style of tint, being the ceramic tint, which is pretty much the best that you can get out there right now. And I'm going with a slightly lighter shade of tint, being the 15% instead of the normal 5% that I'm accustomed to in all my other previous vehicles. But I think with the look that I'm going with this car, I did not want it to have that black out limo tint window, because I still wanted a little bit more visibility, but I wanted it to have that nice, professional, sleek look without being completely blacked out and obnoxiously obvious. So when I'm driving past cops and so forth, I'm hoping that the slightly lighter 15% shade might deter them from even wanting to pull me over. Because this is Pennsylvania, and pretty much anything less than like 30 or 35% or whatever it is completely illegal. Now, most of the time, your factory vehicles are going to come with, I think, 20% on the back windows, but nothing on the side windows. So again, anytime you're putting pretty much any tint on your passenger and driver's side window, it's illegal. So being that I'm doing 15% all around, I'm hoping that it will allow just enough visibility to see in to deter cops from pulling me over for the tint, but enough darkness that's going to give me that private look I'm going for. So I'm excited by this. I can't wait to get it done. I think it's going to turn out great, and we're heading there now. Again, this is Friday. I'm out of town Saturday, so I'm probably not going to get the car back till probably Sunday or Monday. Not because it's taken them that long to do it, just because that's when I have the free time to actually get out and go pick up the car. So we're going to go get this done, and hopefully it turns out great. And after I get it done, we're going to do a little review on it. I'll do a walk around, and then I'll do maybe some nighttime driving to show you what it looks like while looking out of a 15% ceramic tint at night. But stay tuned, because this is going to look pretty awesome. If you guys haven't seen my last couple videos where I actually changed out all of the lights in my car, pretty much on the interior and most of the exterior with brand new bright white LED bulbs, turned out fantastic. It looks amazing. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure you go check it out, because I'm telling you, I got all these LED lights primarily off Amazon, low cost but high quality, and man, they look sharp. And then my Eagle Eye LED tail lights, I bought them off a good buddy of mine, and he only had the lights on for a little over a year or so, and now he's looking to do something different for his car, and he got the new Morimotos, which are very expensive, more than I'd ever want to pay, but they look awesome. But again, he sold me these Eagle Eye tail lights for a very low cost, so I couldn't pass on the deal, and I got them installed, and they look fantastic. And so far, I'm very happy with them. I am going to be looking at replacing the chrome rims with new aftermarket black rims, most likely like a Z06 replica rim, something like that, but it's going to look pretty awesome. But other than that, I'm probably not going to be doing a whole lot more this year. I do have a pedal commander coming in next week, I believe. Funny story is I actually love the pedal commander, and I also love the Banks pedal monster. I have the pedal monster on my truck, and I have a pedal commander on my wife's truck. Now, I did order a Banks pedal monster for this car, and it did come in. I tried to install it, but it didn't work. So I don't know what the problem was, but I ended up having to send it back. So I put in an order for the pedal commander. That comes in next week, and we'll have to see how that goes. So stay tuned for that video. And then next year, I'd like to try to do an axle back exhaust. I might look into aftermarket headers, and then maybe a new intake for the front. But I'm going to try to keep this build pretty clean. Make sure you stay tuned for those videos in the near future to come. We're almost here, but stay tuned. Okay, so we are here. Let's pull in. Okay, so we just went ahead and picked the car up. Everything went pretty good. Once I get home later this evening, because I'm actually on my way to work, when I get home, we'll do a quick little walk around, and I'll show you what it looks like from the outside and the inside. And I'll go over a couple things that I like, a couple things that I don't like. So I want to go over a couple things that I was not aware of, that I found out. That, again, not a big deal, but it is something to consider that I will go over with you guys later. But so far, it looks pretty good. The visibility on the inside is pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it overall. But again, we did go with the 15% on the sides and the back. So it looks pretty good on the inside looking out. It actually looks pretty good on the outside looking in. It's not too overbearing, but it does give it a nice look. But I am happy with the 15%. Because I have had 5% before, and I've been in many vehicles that had the factory tint, which is typically around 20. So this 15% to me is a good compromise. It gives you some good visibility, but it also gives you some nice privacy from the outside, and I'm really happy with it so far. Okay, so here we are driving in the day. It's partly cloudy out, but the sun is out, so I wanted to give you a good idea of what the 15% ceramic tint looks like during the day in partial sun. Okay, so here's the front windshield, which is no tint. There's the side window at 15% ceramic tint. Okay, so during the day, it has a pretty good shaded look. And you can get a good idea looking between the two windows what it looks like during the day. So there's that side. And there's the back. Okay. So far, so good. I'm pretty happy with it. I can feel it on my arm where I hardly feel any heat where I normally would, because the ceramic tint does block out about 99% of the UV rays and blocks out about 50 to 60% of the heat. So far, pretty happy with the overall heat index on this ceramic tint. So don't leave, because later when I get home from work, we're going to go over a few more details on this tint job. Okay, so now that we're driving home, I actually am getting stuck in a rainstorm now, so I figured now is a good time to show you what these 15% ceramic tinted windows look like in a rainstorm. So it's not dark out yet, but the rain clouds are making it very overcast and dark, so I figured I'd let you see what this looks like. So as you can see, there is a big difference between the front windshield here and the tinted window on the side. But you can see very clear with no problems at all. Okay, so now that we're home, it's still pouring down rain, so let's take a look. There we go. So the side windows turned out really, really good. I tried drying them off real quick, but as you can see, you can sort of see in a little bit. I mean, the light's not really helping, but it's kind of hard, but you can sort of see in very, very lightly. You can sort of see the steering wheel and the dash there a little bit. But again, it's still pretty dark. Looks really nice. The back window turned out pretty good too. I did try to dry it off with a towel. Sorry about that. It's just this rain. I was not expecting it, so I'm doing the best I can here. But the back window turned out real good. Okay. And the passenger side window turned out real good. Now again, it's a little lighter from this angle because you're seeing the clear coming from the windshield, okay? But as soon as you come over here, and from this angle, you really can't see through because you're looking through the passenger side 15% and the driver's side 15% behind it. But it's dark enough to where it looks really good. And so far, I'm really happy with the 15% ceramic because it does give me that privacy I'm looking for, but it does give me a little bit of visibility, which I was also looking for. Okay, so that's what it looks like in the garage. And then maybe later on tonight, I'll try to take a spin around the block so that you can see what it looks like through a 15% ceramic tint at night driving on the road. I do want to point out a couple things that I learned today. Number one, if you have the transparent targa top, which I do, okay, I'll show you here. See how you can see through it? Okay, but it's tinted already from the top. I was hoping that we were going to be able to tint that, but I found out because it's not glass, you cannot tint this. So for anybody out there that has the targa top, that has the transparent roof, I'm being told that you cannot tint that because the tint will not adhere to it, mainly because it is some type of a plastic acrylic, but two, there's a lot of contours that the tint will just not stick to. So unfortunately, I was not able to tint the roof, which I was really hoping to be able to do, but it didn't work out, so oh well, it is what it is. That's number one. Number two, this one here kind of stinks. I'm sure you guys have all experienced this. As you can see here, see if I can get close enough, you can see the little dots, okay? From a distance, they're not too bad. Up close, they get a little bit worse. Some of them look lighter than others, but that dot matrix is from the factory. There's not much you can do about it. Tint does not really adhere to the dot matrix that well. It has this whole dot matrix right across the top here. Probably, I mean, it's pretty wide, okay? So it goes wide across the top, and then it thins out, and then I have a real thin dot matrix around the bottom edge. Now the bottom edge and the side does not bother me. The top is what kind of bothers me, but I'm a little bit OCD with this kind of stuff. So when I see the tint not necessarily adhering, it just doesn't look like a very seamless look, So that is one thing I wanted to point out. If you are tinting your window, check your back window and see if you have any of the dot matrix on here, like that, because you will have troubles tinting that. Now there are some ways around it. You can do a black vinyl. So basically from the inside, cut off the tint at that area and then run a sheet of black vinyl. You still will see, if you get close enough, you will still see a hexagon pattern from the black vinyl, but it'll be all black. So it will not be as noticeable as this. I've seen other guys paint it. And worst case scenario, which I do not recommend, I have heard of people sanding those down or taking a razor blade and trying to chip them off. Now, for those of you that might not necessarily know what the dot matrix is really for, there's actually a couple reasons, but one of the main reasons of a lot of these dots is to reflect and reject the heat around your glass, because it's meant to try to keep heat from warming up the adhesive that is holding the glass to the car. So anytime you see the dot matrix like that, there is a reason why it's there, and it's primarily to reject the heat in that area to stop the adhesive from getting too hot and coming loose. Because that is one thing you do not want, is the adhesive on your windows to come loose and go flying off. So that's the second problem that I had that I was learning more about today, is this dot matrix. Now I think what we're gonna try to do is wait a few days, see if it dries up and see how it actually looks once everything's fully dried and it has had a few days in the sun to really dry out. If it still doesn't look as great, I might consider doing the black vinyl strip there. Now keep in mind, when you do the black vinyl strip, you're not really gonna be able to see out of that area. But when you're sitting in the car looking out, you pretty much really don't see this area anyway, so I'm not too concerned by it. But as of right now, it's not a big deal. I just wanted to point that out so that some of you guys out there that are tinting your windows, pay attention to the dot matrix, because it's not gonna tint perfectly in that area. So that's really the main two problems that I had with this. Again, it's not the company that I went to's fault. It just is what it is. You can't tint the transparent roof because it's not glass, and you can't do much about the dot matrix except use a black vinyl strip or paint it or something like that. But I think for now, again, I'm just gonna give it a few more days and see how everything looks afterwards. And maybe it'll grow on me and it won't bother me. But as of right now, it's not a big deal. But still, 15% ceramic tint looks perfect to me. It has that perfect balance between privacy and visibility. So there it is. That right there is 15% ceramic tint. So we'll be back later and we'll see what it looks like at night. Okay, so it is nighttime. Let me turn the outside lights off to show you. It is pretty dark outside. It's just the camera is picking up more light than is out there. So let's take this for a quick ride around the block. See here, keep in mind my camera is not able to focus through the darkness here, but you can see out. Let me try to go through the neighborhood. I'll try to show you some houses of what you can see at night. So here's a few houses here. This is looking out the side window of 15% ceramic tint. So you can still see a pretty good bit. Okay, look over here on the driver's side. Still see some. I mean, there's the front. As soon as you look at the tint, you can still see. And that's what I like. I want to be able to see at night. here's kind of the corner there. So you can kind of get an idea of the front windshield and the side at the same time. So hopefully this video will help some of you guys. But trust me when I say, I can see out the side of these windows. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, but trust me, it's way better than looking out of 5% window tint, because you can't see hardly anything out of a 5% window tint. But, and that's what's most important to me with this tint, is that I can still see at night when driving. Okay, we are home. Okay, so that is it. So that's it for the video, everybody. I hope this video helps some of you out. If you are on the fence with tinting your windows, whether you're still torn on what percentage of tint you're gonna get, or if you're torn on which particular level of tint you're gonna get. Because there is a very basic tint, which is just gonna tint the windows and give you a look, but basically no UV protection and no heat protection. Now there is a step up, which is like more of a metallic flake, but not many people are really using that anymore because it does have a lot of issues with cellular signals. Above that's going to be your carbon, which is actually a pretty good tint. It's going to give you a really good look. It's going to give you some UV protection and give you just a little bit of heat protection, but it's more affordable than ceramic. Top of the line is going to be ceramic tint, which is going to give you the best of everything. A really great look. It's going to give you really, really high UV protection, and it's going to give you a really good amount of heat protection. So if your car is parked out in the heat a lot, or you happen to live in a very, very hot climate like Texas or out in Arizona or Florida or something like that, then going with a ceramic tint is probably a very good option for you, because it's really going to cut down the heat in your car and reduce the amount of air conditioning you're going to need in that type of a climate. So that's it. Hope this video helps some of you guys out. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like this video. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Also, subscribe to the channel because it definitely helps me out and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. So that's it. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Thank you. I truly appreciate you all. And as always, see you in the next video.